Yeah, good morning. Uh, this is Monica from Microsoft. Today, I wanted to share some ideas around improving the resource timing API and get your thoughts on it. So, we have identified two key issues with the current resource timing API based on the feedback from our partners as well as developers across GitHub and the broader web community. The first issue is inability to map the resource timing entry to the specific request. So when a same URL is fetched multiple times, or whether from the same tab or an iframe or repeated requests from the same page, it becomes difficult for developers to know which resource timing entry corresponds to which request. There is simply like no default or built-in way to distinguish those requests without some workarounds for some requests. And the second issue is inability to map timing data to the current client when a service worker is involved. Yeah, a service worker can be shared and handle multiple requests from multiple clients, whether it's from iframe or tabs of the same origin. But here, developers have no way to tell which timing entry came from which client, which tab here, for example. Uh, and especially, it is hard to estimate or to get the performance entry, right performance entry when these requests are happening when in parallel and also when there is navigation preload involved. Uh, so yeah, this makes client-specific performance analysis really challenging. And we have heard specific needs from two of our partners where one wants to track repeated or high frequency requests to the same URL, especially with post or retries. But without this unique identifier, matching each timing entry is unreliable, which is basically the problem one in the previous slide. And the another partner wants to analyze navigation performance across clients handled by a service worker. With the current API, it's hard to tell which timing entry belongs to which tab. Uh, we will dive more deeper into the second use case in the next slide to better understand the problem. So here is the table. That has from our metric analysis, like internal edge metric analysis for the NTP. So this it's a 75th percentile comparison for the navigation request, but for the navigation request timing from the document and service worker context, where like our partners are interested in few of these metrics, and which highlighting the timing overhead when a service worker is involved but not running. So our NTP partner wants to analyze how navigation performance varies across different clients, that is across different multiple tabs when intercepted by a service worker, shared service worker. Their goal is to get a precise breakdown of the navigation timeline and to also understand when and how much overhead a service worker introduces and how that changes depending on whether the service worker is already running or not. But without a way to map resource timing back to the right client, this analysis is limited. For example, if multiple tabs load the same page, there is no way to tell which resource timing entry belongs to which tab. Uh, and also, it's like hard to use workarounds when there is a navigation preload enabled within the service worker. Yeah. This is the problem like which our partners are seeing, and we wanted to uh, yeah, have a solution for like two of these use cases. Uh, I'll just stop here and yeah, check if any of you have any questions on the problems and the use cases.
Yeah, let's keep questions to the end, because or we can stop the recording, well, whichever.
Uh, yeah, I think we can go in the end. Yeah, I'll just continue my presentation. Thanks. So our proposal here, so like yeah, to address this two of the challenges which we are facing or the developers are facing across the community. So we are proposing enhancing the resource timing API and the response API by adding a new response ID field to the response and the resource timing API. So here the user agent will be responsible to generate a unique identifier for this each for each response it creates, and this response ID could then be exposed in both response object and also in the resource timing entry of the page and also in the service worker context. This solution would allow developers to track repeated or high frequency request scenarios. That's a use case one, and also to understand which client a timing entry came from uh, when using the service worker, which is use case two. And yeah, for the use case one, here is a yeah, code snippet. Yeah, of yeah, and with this response ID as a unique identifier, here we can see we can track repeated requests to the same URL accurately. I mean, for example, let's say if a page makes multiple fetch requests to the same URL, and each response would have a different response ID, and that can be linked to its own resource timing entry. So this makes it easy to match uh, each response with this timing data, even when these URLs are identical. This example for the use case one with the yeah repeated fetches for the same URL. And here in this slide, like this is an example for the use case two with the response ID involving service worker. So here the service worker is involved, and we can use this response ID uh, to link the resource timing data in the service worker context with the corresponding resource entry in the page context. Let's say here, service worker generates a response ID for each response inside its fetch handler. And this response ID is used to retrieve the matching timing entry from the service worker context. And then a developer can send this response ID and its corresponding timing info from the service worker context to the right client, uh, and where it can be compared against the page own timing data. So that enables some performance, accurate performance analysis across different contexts for any of the requests, whether it's a navigation or a resource. So yeah, I would like to hear your feedback on this. And also we have put together the more detailed explanation of this proposal, including yeah, alternatives and some design consideration in the explainer talk. But yeah, I would